Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about American politics. And I want to talk about the Call Her Daddy Kamala Harris interview. And something I learned about that interview that was really shocking. All right, so first of all, I did not watch that interview because I don't watch Call Her Daddy. I don't, Call Her Daddy is not a show that I've ever watched. I'm aware of it because it has a historical place in podcasting. What is that historical place? Well, it can't. All right, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but my knowledge of Call Her Daddy is this started out as a super raunchy two women talking about their nighttime activities with other people, right? So that was what the show was about, right? And then at some point it pivoted and it was like all, high art and self-help. Not sure when they made that. But this super raunchy, let's talk about our nighttime activity show sold for like $165 million, which was one of the highest podcast sales ever, right? So this thing got very famous, and the Call Her Daddy podcasters, and I think one of them dropped off like a scale off of a dragon. They were very rich, and so this is what really interesting. So first of all, this was Kamala Harris's biggest podcast move of the podcast election. A lot of people, and I think this is correct, they're calling the 2024 election the podcast election, and I think podcasts were like 40% of determining the winner. 60% was McDonald's. I'm convinced. Donald Trump's McDonald's maneuver that's like the most successful form of American political theater ever. It's bar none. That's it. Like, shut it down. But podcasts were really important, right? So, but Kamala Harris goes on, Call Her Daddy to do what? To get liberal white women? Like, that's who listens to that show, right? Like, you already have that, right? Like, it's like you going on there to like just assure your base. Like, it was not good. So it was very, it was just like Tim Walz. You're like, why are you making this move? This isn't going to get you a single swing voter, right? Like, it was really wild. But this is the part that really blew me away. Okay, they found this out because they were doing an autopsy on Kamala Harris's money and how much money she spent, and that she spent too much money, right? Now, first of all, I think this is a BS. This is not a real complaint about Kamala Harris's campaign. She raised $1.2 billion in 3 months, and she spent it. And actually, she overspent by a little bit. None of that is a problem. She should have raised it. She should have spent it. You should leave it on the field, right? I don't have any problem with the amount of money she spent, right? So my complaint about what I'm about to tell you does not have to do with the cost of it. It has to do with the authenticity of it, okay? So get this. So Kamala Harris's team is like, okay, we need to do some of these podcasts. Let's not do Joe Rogan, right? Like, and literally fatal mistake for the campaign, right? Like, I think Kamala really might have, like, it really would have helped if she went on Rogan. They're doing postmortems right now. And a lot of people are like, this was a terrible idea not to do Rogan, right? Because you were telling every guy, we don't care about you. We don't care about young men, right? Like, we don't need a single young man to come vote for Kamala Harris. That's not correct. You definitely need a young man to vote for Kamala Harris. So get this. So Kamala Harris calls up Call Her Daddy's team, and they're like, hey, Kamala needs to come on the show, right? And they're like, oh, and so I'm sure Call Her Daddy was like, yeah, no problem. Come on down, man. Doors open, right? Because it's going to be huge for them, right? Kamala Harris's team, like, is we ain't coming to you. You come to us, right? So I'm sure the Call Her Daddy team was like, okay, that's not going to be great. We really like to have people in studio. It makes it feel like you want to be on the show, but okay, we'll come your way, And then Kamala Harris's team is like, no, you're coming to us, but you're bringing your studio. And I'm sure Call Her Daddy was like, we can't bring our studio. And they're like, yeah, you're gonna. We'll pay for it, but we're going to completely rebuild the Call Her Daddy set. You're going to come to us, and then we're going to rebuild every single part of your set to make it seem like Kamala Harris traveled to your set. But she's not going to travel to your set. And now that we see this on the other side, you're like, what? And the problem is, every single thing you saw on screen when Kamala Harris was doing the Call Her Daddy interview was fake. The set was literally fake. It was a duplicate that was built the week of, right? Kamala Harris's desire to be on Call Her Daddy was fake. And I think at this point, Call Her Daddy's desire to have her on the show was fake, right? Because they're like, we're literally rebuilding an entire set that'll be used for one interview? What is the point of this, right? Like, and I'm sure that was extremely frustrating for Call Her Daddy to pretend that Kamala Harris had come to set and completely rebuild the set. But this is why Kamala lost. She's just not authentic, right? And I think American people could see that. Like, there's no there. She was an empty pantsuit, right? She just was like, hey, I'm just like you, but I don't do anything like you. I don't talk like you. I don't do anything like you. She is a Learjet riding San Francisco liberal, and Americans could smell it from a mile away, right? It was just, every step she took was so outrageously inauthentic, right? And I think that's the point. The Call Her Daddy said the entire interview was fake. The set was fake. Kamala's, excitement to be there was fake. And I think Call Her Daddy's team, host, her excitement to talk to Kamala Harris was fake. Every single thing you saw was fake. And I think, and the thing is, Kamala Harris and her team thought they could just, roll over Americans, and that Americans would never know. And I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, Reddit will figure this out in 5 minutes. They'll be like, oh, hey, everybody, did you notice that the electrical outlet was 3 centimeters to the left? It's a fake set. How did they think they were going to get away with this? And the answer is absolute hubris and outrageous inauthenticity. All right, I really think this is bad. And this is why they lost. You could just smell this inauthenticity from leagues away. And Americans could just sense it. They could sense that Kamala Harris was outrageously different and had never, ever eaten McDonald's, let alone be willing to work there, right? So it's really, really shocking. And I was shocked by this. I was very shocked that they recreated the Call Her Daddy set. That is astounding, right? Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.